Hello everyone. Sorry, I'm running a tad bit late. Forgot to set up all of my stuff. Got distracted talking to people for work stuff. That happens. So I'm just setting a couple windows before I get going. Also, before I get going, I did an agenda today. I figured I should start making an agenda so I can start figuring out exactly what I want to talk about each week and try and get through some topics. And then I have some stuff to work on, just inherit for next week as well. So I posted the agenda on Twitter. I can post it into the chat. I'm just still closing out of all these apps I had open. Totally got distracted today. Almost done. Got almost all of those gone. Two more windows to open up, and I am ready. So, before I get going though, any questions this week? Is there any topics you guys would like to see? Anyone's looked at the agenda? Be great to get some feedback on it. This one, I need to automate setting up all my windows. A lot of people have these like automated scripts that just go through and reset everything and put them in the right position. I'm not that fancy yet. I should get there. I should get there. Okay. Last one. Last one. Go. Nope, not perfect. Perfect. I just need to get all the stuff up so I can monitor, and I do have audio this time, so that's really exciting. That doesn't always work, as we found out last time. Perfect. Fuse there, fuse there. Yes! I'm set up. That only took me 2 minutes. All right. So let me get going. Let me bring up the agenda, and we can talk about that. That in front of me right here. Perfect. All right. So the agenda I wanted to go over today was going through and I wanted to try and maybe build my settings screen. Actually, that's my old agenda. I updated it. I put it on, get the right one. I put it on a gist. GitHub. And I just tweeted it. You think it'd be really easy to go find the one? Why am I not logged in there? Okay, let me just for a second switch over to this screen. New window. All right, this one will have it. Ooh. Oh, wait. This one. All right, I'll share my screen. We can look at this. All right, this is my updated one. I like it. All right, share my screen. Okay, and that is on the screen right. I'm liking this. Okay. Also, I found out that VS Code has like Markdown preview, which is really fun, right? It doesn't do the checkboxes like that works on GitHub, but it's still pretty cool. And that one's just out of date. Try to just use that. Let's go to raw and just update it. Then we can use this. But I was really excited when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, I was really excited about that. All right, so actually I'm going to throw one more thing in first. I want to do the welcome screen first because the welcome screen is really ugly and driving me nuts. All right, up and going, perfect. So yeah, I kind of want to go through and work on the welcome screen. I'd like to, thank you. I like this shirt. It's a great one. It's one of the good old ones from Evolve. But yeah, I want to build out the welcome screen. I'd like to add a setting screen because once we ran into this before, once the welcome screen is dismissed, there's no way to log back in. So I need to build the setting screen. And I want to start doing stuff with some styles. And time to throw some gradient backgrounds in there and some images, and maybe if we have time, the search screen, because the search screen is a really important screen and very much needed. And I started putting some future tasks, things that I need to cover. Theme switching, these are in no particular order, and even the stuff in this order is probably going to get mixed up and moved around. So yeah, I definitely need to do some blurs, some audio and video playback, local playback integration. That's like iPod playback. Let you integrate into the iPod. Some pop-up menus. This is how you'd like mark things to be offline or remove them from your stuff. Playlist editing, image toggle button, that's like my play button. You can toggle it. That needs to be done sooner rather than later. And yeah, we got to clean up that now playing screen. That's when I really want to finish. We've started on it, but some of these other things are bugging me a bit more. So, all right. With that, let's jump in and start coding. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I love being interrupted. Yeah, I don't mind explaining things, why I do things the way I do, or anything along those lines. So ask questions. Uh, yeah, give me tips. There's times that I don't do things the right way, or there's better ways of doing things. So feel free to tell me better ways of doing it. All right, so this screen, we can't really see it very well in the preview because there's no text yet, because I do binding afterwards. So let's start by just putting in here some text so we can see what's going on. Welcome to, and then that's what that text should say. Welcome to gMusic, and enter. That's funny, that doesn't do that right. All right, so welcome to gMusic, some buttons. Let's do, can't remember what it says. I think this one just says login. And then this one says like skip or login later. I don't know. We'll just do skip. Okay, so the screen is really, really ugly, especially if we're looking in it in the current app. This is what it shows up like, which just, it's not very good. Oh, sorry, I remember on one of my off streams we did a topic thing. You notice the topic on my screen is wrong. So let's update this. I should be able to just do topic. What are we doing? Building the welcome. Hey, welcome to Stream Helper. Let's hope it works. It posted. I think it worked. I need to clean up that output. It's really, really ugly. And did the stream update? It did. No, it just says building. Oh, I need to quote that stuff. Okay, sorry everyone. I'm now going to tweet this twice. And if the tweeting worked. All right, so let's run this again. Quote that. Now, yeah, now it should update right. Now our topic is right. We are building the welcome screen. Feel free to remind me. Sorry, Sweeky, I meant to do it and I didn't. So feel free to remind me, guys, if I don't do that. So I will remember, keep everyone as you get distracted or aren't paying attention. Sometimes people log in late. It's nice for them to know what's going on. So please help me remember to do that because I'm probably going to forget. All right, so this screen, right now I'm doing it in a stack layout. I'm going to change this to be a grid just because we don't need to do all this in a stack. We do it in a grid, I'll have more control over it. So the old screen, I have this up here. No, it's not going to show me the welcome screen. Okay, well, we look at the code to the old screen. Wow, I did not close any of my browser stuff. I mean, out of my windows. Sorry, hopefully I don't reveal anything I shouldn't. Everything looks fine. Yeah, nothing so far. Okay, we're good. I had nothing that gives anything away or I shouldn't show. I'm happy with that. All right, so let's jump in. And like I said, I was a little rushed today. I just got distracted. People from work were distracting me. Makes it hard to code and get set up for that. Okay, so let's go into the old gMusic. And the old gMusic, looking out the code, it's all code-based. I did everything, I don't know, I just love laying stuff out by code. So that's how I did things. And it's really simple. What it would do is it would split the width, into 4. So 25% on each side and then 50% in the middle, and that's what I laid everything out as. So that's really, really easy to do with the grid. Star, do like star, 2 star, star for the columns. And then for the rows, it's going to get a tad bit trickier because I would dock an image to the top part of the screen, followed by the text, and then I would bottom dock 30 pixels up. I would bottom dock the two buttons. So we can take care of that though. It's easy enough to do. We're still going to use a grid, and inside this grid dot column definitions. Let's fill some of these things out. And we're going to add 3 of these. Column definition. And this will just be width equals star. As I said, we'll do star, 2 star, star. And that will give us 3 columns equal, oh, I also need to add the image in here. And I don't have the image. We're just going to do this image. I want to change this image over to an SVG, so we can do it just like we're doing on the other ones, but I haven't done that yet. So we're just for now, so we're not, that's not stuff you guys care about. Let's just grab this image and copy it into the resources. And perfect. So we have that there. And I might even change how these work when I have to do a real image. The reason they're real images, it also uses that same image on the storyboard, the launch storyboard. And they have to be images there. You can't do SVGs or anything fancy there. Okay, so now that we have the grid, let's do rows. Oops, sorry, not end the grid there. Grid, row definition. Throw some of these in here. And here I will just do row definition. And try and remember. Okay, so for this, I'm going to, I think I might do something. I think this one is going to be height equals star. Okay, bear with me here. This is going to be a little odd. Height equals, we'll do like 3 star. I might tweak those. I don't know how they're going to look. And then we'll do row definition. This one's just going to be auto, so we're going to leave it as it is. Row definition. And we're just going to set this to be that bottom 30. Oops, height equals 30. All right, perfect. Now let's start adding stuff into here, and we're going to need to fix those buttons because they're really ugly too. So instead of just having that stack, let's just we'll do an image. Actually, I could just put those. We're just going to do a stack again. Stack layout. We're going to need 2 stacks, so I'll leave one of these here. We'll do 1 stack. We'll get the image in it. And also the label. And now we need to put this to column equals 1 because we want that to be in that middle column. And we're going to set it to row equals 1 as well. Perfect. So that welcome to gMusic looks funny though. It should not be doing that in different lines. But, ooh, what did I just do? Just undid something. Okay, so I should be able to do welcome to base, and I thought I could hit, thought that would be big enough. Change form factors. Yeah, we might have to tweak, I don't know, I think the previewer just could be wrong there. Yeah, I'll collapse the solution pad. Thank you. We don't need that for what we're doing. We can use more space. All right, so let's throw the label in there. We need to throw an image in there. Actually, let's format this, make it prettier. Okay, so let's do image. And for now, we're just going to say source equals, sorry, now I need that back to see what that was called. It's called logo-white. Okay. Hey, we're getting somewhere. Got the logo there. This text needs centered. So text, what is it? Horizontal text equals center. Okay, so that's centered. The 2 really should be up on that line. Let's make this middle one, that should be fine. Let's say 3 though. Nope, all right, we'll see how it looks on device. Okay, so we've got the logo, we've got some text. I'm gonna throw some fonts in here. I wanna do custom fonts while we're at it because I like having a really thin one. In the old app, you'll notice I used a lot of the, what was the name of that font? The Apple font that came out, San Francisco. How can I not remember San Francisco? But they had lots of thin fonts and things like that, and I found an open source one that I like from the Google stocks, Hebo. I really like Hebo, so we'll probably use that since we can use it on both iOS and Android, and then it'll be consistent. Font awesome. Not sure I follow that question though. Okay, wait, quick search help stuff. Yeah, that does help stuff look things up, but would Font Awesome have stuff? Oh, maybe. Is that I don't know what Font Awesome is, so I found this one I like. It's really close to San Francisco for icons. This one I like. It looks very close to San Francisco stuff, so we'll 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 put it on here. But yeah, check out Font Awesome later. All right, so we've got the text this. Now I want to move all of these buttons. This stack needs to go down to column. Oh, it's probably this messing with the column. Column equals 1. And now row equals 1, 2. It goes to 2, right? That puts them at the bottom. Okay, perfect. We're going to change this to vertical because these also go vertical. Instead of center and expand, I think I don't need any horizontal options on these. We're going to add borders. I like border buttons. Just text buttons are just ugly. I've never liked that style. It's not my thing. So inside of here, let's do border with equals 1. Okay, I think I do need something. No, that should be right. Those just look. These look too big. I think I need to make this at like 4. Still not getting bigger. That makes no sense. Just doesn't look right. All right. Either way, we also need to throw a gradient. gMusic uses gradients. Not sure how popular those gradients still are, but you know, I'm using them, so deal with it. Unless you're a designer and you have a better idea, then let me know and I will use something better. Although this doesn't look like it's parsing. Why is... Oh, I'm missing this. What happened there? All right, so give that a 1. Let's give this a 4. That's looking more of what I wanted. I did want that enter. My text does have an... Oh, I don't have the enter there. I think doing that does do it. Okay, perfect. So maybe we'll just leave that at 3. That looks pretty good. Maybe we'll go 4. I don't know, I'm going 4. I like how that looks. We'll see how it looks on devices. But that looks good to me. So we'll go with that. Got our icon. That icon is huge. I don't remember it being that big. Oh, I can load up the old screen if I want. We can log out and then reset it. That would show me. Now the welcome screen's not going to show me there. All right, either way, I digress. So let's add a border onto here. Border width equals 1. We're also going to need to change all these fonts and text colors because this should all be white. And I want to do that with styles. I need to do a style thing. I think I did those all white. Now I really want to see what this app looked like. All right, so I have to kill the settings to do that. Sim, we'll use OpenSim. It's that tool I've used in the past. Really awesome. Let it load up. OpenSim, this one is the XS. Then go to the XS, open up gMusic Beta, and we can see all of its stuff. So if I go into here, it's this one I kill. Now if I open it again, nope, that did not. Let's log out first too. Settings. Why does it not show me any music? Oh, it does. Okay, we have music in there. It's like it just looked empty. So if I wonder if there's any other screens we want to look at before I log out. No, we'll continue. It's all right. Since this screen we're working on, let's just log out. That's what we care about. Let's log out of these two. Out of that. All right. So what we can definitely do is let's just that folder. We are going to kill this folder. Goodbye. So now if I open that, it's inside the preferences. It's not showing it to me. And if I reset this phone, then yeah. So let me turn off iPod music. I think that'll do it. How to trigger the welcome screen. Something, okay. I can't figure out how to trigger my welcome screen. I wish I would have taken a screenshot. Okay. It shouldn't be that hard. Okay, you know what? Let's do this the right way. Let's just launch it. And we'll do it the way everybody wants to get to a specific screen does it. You just go into your root and you hard code it. Let's make this font way the heck bigger. That's not doing it. Okay, that hotkey is doing something really weird there. Oh, it just didn't catch up yet. It's really big. Okay, I think it's still trying to load all the stuff for the project, so the font does not. That's really interesting. It's a weird artifact. All right, so let's go to the main app delegate in iOS. App delegate. Now here, instead of loading the root view like I normally do, new, oh no, it's intro screen, intro view controller. Okay, so let's just run that. Now that I've logged out of everything, and we'll have to log back in if we actually want to play with data. All right, all right. That looks so much nicer. Okay, I did restrict the size of that image, so I need to make sure I don't let it get too big. Man, that looks so much better. Okay, but now we have something to reference. All right, let's go back to gMusic. Let's make sure we have our reference stuff ready. We can compare that next to where we're at. So close, guys. Oh wow, I've changed a lot on that. That doesn't even match the launch screen anymore. Oh, I put a blur in there. That's right. I forgot I did that. I liked the softness of the blur. All right, so that is way too big. Fonts are really way too thick. Like I said, I use that thin font regularly in places. It just looks so nice. Login, skip. Oh yeah, I didn't do the border on the skip. Right. Not bad. That looks pretty good aside from the colors, the font, and that image size. Let's see if we can make that image. Can you put like a max size on that? Aspect equals fit. If I do it on fit. No, I had. So what I did on the old one is the old one did some fancy math based on the screen size, because on a phone versus an iPad, it should look different. And also it would do things based on, well, I guess the orientation wouldn't matter on that. But if we look at the code on that, it will calculate and say image width, it'll grab the smallest, so it'll have the maximum size of the image, so it can't get any bigger than that. And then it would say whatever the width is, time 0.6. It would get something that fits perfectly in there. Then it would just square that thing. So I could do something like that. Maybe it's now really growing. We'd have to make a custom control. Is the column and the row settings affecting the image size? It shouldn't, because it's inside the stack. It is going to the max width, but if I put it into, if I put this aspect mode, it should prevent that. So fit won't make it get any bigger, so it's probably at the maximum size. I just don't like it that big because I mean, it looks ridiculous being that big. So let's do height request equals like 30. I'm just curious what that'll look like. Wow, no, that's way too small. We might do something like this for now. And then like, I don't know, I might have to do a custom control. Could do that. Yeah, yeah, custom control is probably what I need to do. So that way it will lay itself off based on percent with the maximum thing so it can do the math. But that's pretty close to the right size right now. Actually, let's give us a nice fuchsia background color so we can see what it looks like. Background color equals fuchsia. That's pretty close to my color, right? No designer would care if I did that one instead. All right. Yeah, going with the 125 is pretty close for this. It's not going to scale like I want, so I'm going to need to fix that later. But it looks fine. I also need to put some spacing in here. So stack spacing equals, let's say like 20. That spacing looks pretty good. That should be about right. I use fuchsia all the time. It's like the best default color. Yeah, you'll notice, I think we even used it on like the slide up things. Yeah, go to fuchsia. Who doesn't go to fuchsia? Fuchsia, blues, and greens. I think those are all I use. Once in a while I'll throw red in there, but red's just jarring. But fuchsia, it's good. All right, so let's go into our label. Let's change the font color. Text color equals white. I want to put a lot of this stuff into a theme later, and then we'll do that here as well for the buttons. So we're going to kill this button border because we don't want that. Text color equals white. Border color equals white. Text color equals white. Yay! Okay, that's actually pretty good minus fuchsia background. So let's fix the fuchsia background. For that, we're going to do a custom control. It's time. All right, so I want to add a new view. Why is that off screen? Let's do Xamarin.Forms. We're going to do a content view. We're just going to do a C# one. And we're just going to call this a... I wonder if I should do this at... No, we'll just do it as a gradient view for now. All right. So a gradient view. Perfect. And, you know, I Googled how to do this because I can never remember how to do this. And we had a nice little doc on this, on doing some Skia, because I already have Skia Sharpen added. So what we'll do is we'll do this, but I don't like how they're like, hey, add this as a page. Hey, Wiz28, thanks for joining. I don't want to just have to do this every time I want a gradient. This is really ugly code. So I'm going to create my own gradient view. So I can just stick this thing in there. We're going to give it an array of colors. And we can do forms to Skia colors, right? I think there's an extension. So I'll let us just do forms colors, and we'll just stick it over as we need it. So I think that's what I'll do. And looking at these, they have this nice little red and blue one. It's kind of what I want. The angle's wrong. As I was looking at it, though, I liked the way this silver one looks. It might be the exact same angle, but I'm going to steal its code instead. So let's say, let's add in canvas. We'll do this. I did copy. Let me copy again. There we go. Copied some text in there. I'm going to add... Oh, yeah, I'm in the right gMusic. Inside of here, I did add, did I not add the Skia for forms? I have Skia. It comes in as a base. Okay, let's just add that NuGet. So Skia sharp. That's not the views one I want. There's a forms one, right? The top forms. Anyone know what the Skia one is? I thought it was Skia something form. Skia views dot forms. Okay, found it. All right, so we'll add that one. We probably now need to go and make sure Skia is added appropriate to the other ones. Man, there's updates. I just updated these yesterday. You guys are on it with the updates. Might update that again, so we'll do Skia view forms. That should bring in everything it needs. Be nice if you could just say add these and then check off all the projects you want to add it to. Because almost always I'm adding it to all of them. All right, so hopefully that is added enough yet. Sweet, done it. All right, so now I'm not going to use everything they did here because I don't like the way they did it, but we'll grab it so we have a starting point. Okay, that one, and then one more of those. Control I will format my code. Okay, Skia sharp, got all that. Perfect. I like the angle. Colors are going to be wrong. So let's do on here public color. Just going to say it's an array, so you can just set it. And then we will do, I'm going to fix all those later. We're not going to leave it that way. Oh, that's right. Why is stuff not indenting right? something's not right. Give it a second to update. Oh, right. Color array. Need to name it. All right, so now that's done, I should be able to format my code. Perfect. We also need to do a, yeah, what we'll do is we'll just do a, let's call it SK colors. Okay, so SK colors. So what I need to do here is set this so that way I'm not taking a hit every time it color draws to do that casting. Not that it's probably that bad, but I can't help myself. Okay, so return colors, and then we'll do colors equals value, color, so SK colors, come on, SK color. I think it'd go straight to the one I'm using instead of the generic class. Go to a property instead of a class type. All right, SK colors equals, we'll do colors dot, and we're not using Xamarin to add. Use, oh, I need to pull this stuff out all the way. We'll use system.link. All right, now I think that there is on here v dot to sk color. That's what I was hoping for. And we'll just dot to array that thing. All right, so now we'll set that. So now we can just say, hey, colors, use this thing. I probably need to make that a bindable property, don't I? I want to do it, I'm just going to default this thing to what my colors are, because that's pretty much the only gradient I'm going to use. And we'll just put SK colors in here. That way we don't need to make a new array. We'll just use the existing one. We have colors, perfect. Light performance gain will get there. So gradient colors, I have not added a style class yet. I'm just going to dock this back for now. Gotta remember to ditch it when we drop back over. So in here, I like to go into my add new file. And this is just going to be a generic one. We will do something with styles later to where we tie into the Xamarin.Forms styles, but for now I just want to get some colors up there. So public static color, and I think it is these hotkeys will do that. Some forms. But this is going to be accent color, because we're going to use this accent color all over the place. And for now, we'll set it to color.from RGB. And I have that color saved inside my old style sheet. From RBG is this one. So this is the fancy gMusic pinkish color. Not fuchsia. Don't use fuchsia in the real stuff, but my pinkish color is that. Now, I don't remember what the orange color is, and I don't even think I have it. I do have the icon we can grab from. I grabbed the icon. Trying to remember. We can grab it from Sketch. Sketch will have it. If not, we'll just screen grab it. It'll be close enough for now. So inside of resources, SVG. It's not that close to fuchsia. You will see. Come on. Okay, this part's kind of close to fuchsia, but when you do all the gradients, it doesn't look like fuchsia. You're just jealous I've got the courage to ship fuchsia in an app. All right, so let's open this. Yeah, the gradient's what saves it. If there wasn't the gradient, it'd be horrible. All right, so let's open this up here and let's check what the gradient is. Grab that orange color. Okay, I actually have a couple of pauses along the way. What's this go to? Antonio and Vinicius always said everything I designed was beautiful. You can quote me on that. Okay, so 255, 94, 58. Okay. So public static color. Oh, that's off screen. You guys, oh yeah, you can see enough of it. I don't know. Our second gradient color. I'm just gonna call it the orange color. This color. Later, I make these not static, and then I have theming in here, so you can set the colors based off themes, which is pretty nice. I've done in the past. So 255. It was something 58. 94. I was gonna say 100. All right, so now we have some gradients. So we're just gonna default this thing in here equals. Didn't they add this syntax where you can just do not? Oh, there's two styles. Dang it, I can't call my class style. That's a bad name. All right, so we're gonna ditch this and say, I'm not, it's gonna be hard for me to remember because in my old iOS one it's just called style. Music style dot accent color, comma, music dot orange color. Sweet, we have a gradient view. Now I will need to remember how to, I can never remember that syntax to add this into my own view. So on the now playing screen, let's go back to the welcome, not now playing, welcome screen. You're going to want to add this background. To do gradient view. Not going to compile yet because it's like I have no idea what you are. And so we can leave that fuchsia background because it's going to be covered. It better be covered. If it's not covered, we're in trouble. As Sweeky was nice enough to point out, it's almost the same anyway, right? Okay, I'm going to be lame and Google. I can never remember the stupid syntax. Xamarin. Gonna be a Microsoft doc up here. Really? Is there not? Okay, this tells you how to do it anyway. Assuming the custom control. So horrible. So let's throw, I wish you could just have like a default. I set something at like the app level, and then every single one of these pages is gonna have this. Because I hate doing this all over the place and I can never remember what it is. I don't know how hard that would be to implement something that just does a global like that. David practically did use fuchsia. No, he used, all of his were like Easter colors. He went as muted as possible instead of using the bright colors. Those were, I still wear them, not gonna lie, I still do. But namespace, gMusic dot. I think that's all I have to do. Pastel, that's the right name. Pastel. They really were. All right, so now we have our little gMusic thing, so I should be able to go, now. Okay, that should work. I might have to build this thing first. I don't know if it'll show up there, but, oh, still there's, still there's. Oh, okay. I thought there was a new syntax where I could just nicely do that instead, because I wish you could. All right, so now that should build. Actually, I don't want to build everything in Android. Okay, while we're doing that, so we're going to do gradient view. Now here we're going to say grids column span 3. And then how many rows? Row span 4. 4. Actually, we should give this the fuchsia color. I wonder what it'll do. Okay, so let's, just to make sure. Okay, it's going. Although I need that to be first, because we want it below everything else. Think it matters, right? If I put that first? Perfect. So, okay. How come you didn't want Skia to draw that logo? I plan on making that logo in SVG. The gradient and the alphas are tricky. You'll notice that I have it here, But this one doesn't have that alpha because ngraphics didn't support it. Oops, sorry, I just turned off my volume. Couldn't hear myself anymore. So I'm going to do the ngraphics stuff. I want to do that while we're here. So we'll get there. Just not ready for it. Okay, so now I just want to run the app. Let's see what this looks like. This should give us, wow, did my volume just get up louder? I just adjust my mic. I sound louder to me. Okay. Wow, it's still fuchsia. Okay, let's ditch the fuchsia because I don't think I need fuchsia. Fuchsia should be gone. I could do the design time fuchsia. That's what I need to do is the design time fuchsia. Once again, I would have to Google how to get all that design time. I don't remember. Oh, I have it already. We did it inside a media cell has all that, doesn't it? Yes, yes it does. Okay. Let's do design time fuchsia so we can still see it. Again, I wish you could just globally define these things. Any of the Xamarin.Forms teams listening? David, are you listening? We need to file that. We need to define these things locally or globally. So they're on every single one. Have the option to say, this is everywhere. Okay, so now I can jump up to my background and we can give our background a nice fuchsia color. I don't know why I'm not getting IntelliSense. Scares me because my typing is horrible. My spelling is horrible. Typing's okay. I can't spell fuchsia. Come on. I need IntelliSense. It's custom control, so it's not giving me IntelliSense. We'll put it back on the grid. Okay, there we go. And we can leave that there. Now I want it on here so we can, if we ever mess this thing out, I want to be able to see that it has the fuchsia color and it moves. Green. Green is easy to spell, but it doesn't match. Okay. Our gradients are not drawing. We're getting somewhere though. Getting somewhere. Let's jump into this and let's debug why it is not. Actually, let's change the topic to topic. Yay, let that go off. Hoping it worked. Oh, it didn't show me everything. It didn't show me it tweeted. Maybe it didn't tweet. All right, so now that's going. We can see, let's jump in and debug this thingy. Gradient view. Okay, content equals canvas view. We have colors. Oh, I copied some of the code, but not all of it. Yeah, don't do that. If we're gonna do copy code, we should actually finish copying code. All right, so it's this one. We now have our view. It's showing up. All we need is this, but I don't like the rectangle. Oh no, the rectangle's fine. Info.rect. So let's actually change that thing. Now if I run it, let's see what it does. Yes, you'll notice I tend to use green and blue a lot because yes, I can spell those. I don't think I need the welcome at the very top. I think this is good as a modal, no navigation needed. The old screen looks differently because the colors are opposite for one. And so we'll want to swap those. And then also I did do a blur and it fades and goes over a certain height. If this was on a smaller phone, you wouldn't see how it starts fading again. So it does a loop to where it'll continually keep fading. So let's swap these. Run that. Actually, I'm curious if the previewer will show those. Nope, doesn't. I wouldn't expect it to. I'm glad it doesn't. I thought they added stuff to do Skia. I think I might have that stuff disabled. Okay, let's run it. I think you had to opt into that. Okay, run. But now I have a gradient view, and this gradient view we can now apply to our navigation. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I do like the muted color. What I did was I threw a blur view in there. There's a way to add a blur view. Just easy on iOS. It won't work on Android, but I know it'll work on iOS. Xamarin.Forms, blur, blur iOS. There's an on-platform something or other effect. Visual element, there it is. Exciting. Let's use a visual effect. Okay, so we need to add in this stuff. I like it. Okay, man, my using statement for XAML is getting insane up here. Okay, so now we have that. So now I should be able to do iOS. So on side of here, we'll say iOS visual effect, and I did use the extra light, I think is the style I used. Works. That's super exciting. Wow, it showed me it's doing it there. I was not expecting that. Wow, why is that not centering my text right there? Ignore that. Let's run this, and it should look right. No, I did not do extra light. What's the other option? Okay, we have the screen up here. So I did the blur, do the blur style. I just did light, so we'll just call it light. Hey, I just heard a sound that I got a follower. Thank you, Gaius, for following. I think that's how you said your name. I didn't see it show up on my little alert thing on this screen, though. Lame, I had to switch screens. Okay, so let's just put it as light, not extra light. That is definitely... There we go. Fuchsia's starting to look right. All right, so this welcome screen is really coming together. I need to ditch the navigation because I don't want that bar up there anyway. And we're going to change the navigation because I don't want blue navigation. That's pretty close. That's looking really good. It is doing it at an angle this time. I wonder if there's anything I can do to tighten that up because the old pink was bigger than the orange, but I like it. I need to fix some fonts because the fonts are wrong. But yeah. Way cool. All right, let's ditch that nav bar because that nav thing's ugly. We don't want that anymore. Okay, so we don't need the previewer. We're done with this page. Sorry, goodbye previewer. Thank you for your help. That was very useful today. All right, so we got that. Let's go to where we go to our root page and we display that thing. Display the welcome page. We're just gonna unwrap it. Don't need that. Run it one more time. And that actually should adjust how the gradients look. I wonder if I like the idea of it being at that angle. I might change it to go straight up and down. That's right, it's good enough for now, where we're at. Although the angle's kind of fun. That is perfect. All right, so now if I do login, awesome, awesome. All right, I'm gonna censor my screen really quick. Let's log in. What is this one? Just remembering what account I'm supposed to be using on this one. Got it. Logging in. All right, let's bring you guys back. We're logged in. We're back into our app. Gotta change that title bar color because I'm just gonna. Oh, we can't skip that one. Let's fix our old gMusic app so we have our comparison. Right now, I forgot I hard coded the welcome screen. Need to ditch that. Yeah, it is looking good. Thanks, Wiki. Looking really nice. Okay, so right here, let's just switch that back. Now we have our old app. Let's run it. We can properly compare. You'll notice on iOS I did set that tint color everywhere. So that way iOS just knows, yeah, whatever it can use the tints, it just does natively. But we're going to implement a lot of that in Forms as I build this because I really want it in Forms so that way it's cross-platform. Okay, sweet. It's up and running again. Yeah. Need to switch. And then the title tints, that's all using that same, not fuchsia, but pretty pink color. At one point, I was toying with, in iOS, you can do gradients as colors if you use an image. So you can do like image from color, or color from image. And so I had like the text as like the gradient, but it didn't look good. Did not work well. Kind of fun to do though. You will notice that this button, that play button, does have or it did. One on iOS 11 or 12, the gradient started causing crashes, so I removed it. But it used to be gradient. Okay, so we've got the welcome screen fixed. Let's jump to our checklist, see how we're doing. I probably can't edit that just from here, just clicking. Okay, we'll just do it here. Agenda, finish welcome screen. I am confident saying we have finished that. Building, we got gradient backgrounds too. Yay, gradient backgrounds. Should we jump into the settings screen so we have a way to log in and out? I also, yeah, if you know, we had some ugly code. Let's stop this. Let's go back to our Forms app. We had some ugly code to where I made it to where it would always show the welcome screen because we were building it. So I want to remove that before I forget because I will forget. Actually, hopefully I wouldn't forget because it'll constantly be showing me this thing is ugly. Okay, where do we show the initial page? Okay. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there it is. If I go into the count, that's where it was at. Inside of the count. There we go. Bum-ba-da-dum. Like it. Oh, something's wrong. That code used to be right. Am I missing a no? Yes. Count this. I should not need to. There we go. We'll get the count of how many of are logged in and check if it should be iPod only and the iPod's turned on, which we don't have anyway. It worked out. So at this point, if they tap skip, it puts into iPod only and then asks them if they want to use the iPod. I mean, Apple will do their notification. Hey, can we have access to your music? So good enough for me. We'll just fix that. Let's commit this stuff. And we get to change topics too, because we are not working on Skia drawing anymore. All right. Was going to add the agenda in there, but then I changed not to. Okay, so fixed the welcome screen. It is now pretty. I will, aside from fonts, and we're going to do all the fonts at once, I will call that or feature complete for now. All right, so let's push that up. Anyone wants to play with what we've done? We've got gradients. Yes, GitHub has a dark theme. It's amazing. So excited. I can't remember when they added it, but they added it, and I'm so happy. They're really killing it over at GitHub. All right, let's decide on our checklist. We work on images? Yeah, I accept the updates every time. Live on the edge. I updated my Visual Studio for Mac to the latest internal build prior to streaming. Got to use the latest. The only way to do it. Live on the edge. Okay, so do we want to do the settings screen, styles, or images? Hey, it's the only way to live. Courage Wolf approves. Yes, I'm using the new code editor. Absolutely. I love it. So, and you'll notice over the streams I had some issues here and there, but the team's awesome and fixes it. So a lot of those issues have been worked through and fixed. So I'm feeling the pain so you guys don't have to, but you'll notice this hasn't been painful. We haven't had any editor crashes. We haven't had any real issues today. It's been really well. Previewer launched, we were able to build the welcome screen with it. So I always live on the edge and file bugs. So really exciting it's been working. Okay, so does anyone have any opinion? If not, I think I'm going to go for image loading if no one cares for anything else. I want to switch to images. Nope. Okay, images. So I am right now using SVGs. I know, there's a lag. I wish there wasn't. There's a setting and I turned it on to like reduce the lag, but Twitch still throws a lag in there. Kind of nice. I like having the chat window in there so you can see how long the delay is before I talk and you see it. Okay, so what I have now is I'm using FF image loading using their SVG, which does Skia. The Skia stuff has some issues parsing a lot of my icons. It parses them really funny, and graphics works great. I also want to do tinted images because images have states. My play button should be, the play button doesn't change, but like if I bring this back up, bring the old one up, these buttons should change colors. Just what they do. Before I did tint on it, I would just, on iOS it's easy. I just tell it, hey, this is a template, and I tint them, and I just toggle the tint. Forms doesn't quite have that, but if I'm doing this in my SVG image loading layer, I can ask it to tint the image. Luckily, every one of my icons, they're all white. I think they're all white. We'll find out if they're not, but I think they're all white. So I'll be able to just do, as I load the SVG, string swap out the white for whatever color we want. All right, so let's change the topic. Topic, let's go to an, all right, change the topic. Oh, it says skip tweeting. My tweeting stuff's broken. Okay, I kind of want to go fix what I did there. I have not tweeted. I had it on a 5-minute timer thing, like it won't let me tweet more than twice. And but yeah, am I using visual for this one or vanilla forms? Oh, right now I'm still using vanilla forms. I'd like to jump into. I'd like to use some of the material stuff. Uh, I like the idea of using the whole visual and making everything look the same, and using the material thing, but I kind of like having things separate. I'm going to use blurs on iOS where I don't think I'm going to use blurs on Android. It just doesn't fit the aesthetics there. So I'm not as into the look the same everywhere. I want it for the most part to look the same, but let's throw in some platform specific fun. So, and so far I haven't needed anything special on the visuals. Anything I do are like my play buttons, and those are all SVGs anyway. So most of my artwork comes from the albums. Oh yeah, we need to fix this thing because that is ugly. So okay, we'll get to that. That's going to go with fonts and theming and things like that. All right, so let's work on image loading. On this, I am going to cheat again just to get a starting point. I want to look at the FF image loading SVG. I want to look at their SVG loader really quick. No, the tweets are not going through because I have a bug in my stream helper. We could fix that really quick if we want. All right, let's fix it. I'm doing it. You twisted my arm. Let's fix tweeting. Okay, recent. The tweets were supposed to be cool because they like take an image of the screen and everything. For those who are joining in, we did a stream helper a couple of good days on Thursday and Friday last week, I think. And what it does is it's an not ASP, sorry. It is a .NET Core app that, oh, it opened it in line. Okay, Stream Helper. That'll work. So let's just close this one. Yes, you have distracted me, but it's okay. We need to fix this. There's a bug in the program. Like when there's something wrong on the internet, you can't move on. You have to fix it. Okay, time since tweet. For some reason, this is way off. And I have no idea why. So, there's a disturbance in the force. Okay, we're just going to hard code the message. I think I don't have anything in my options. What are my options? Nope, I don't run anything in. No arguments. So we're just going to say message equals, what was the last message that we sent out? We're going to do that end graphic. I'm just going to copy it and paste it. That way we can fix tweeting. Okay, let's put a breakpoint in here. It's probably something really dumb with my math. Datetime.now minus last tweet time. If tweets less than 5 minutes, yeah, that should be fine. Okay, Let's try tweeting. No, I did. Oh, I forgot. If I'm gonna hack this thing, I'm gonna hack it right. So we're gonna comment this thing out for right now. Don't let me forget to comment that back in. Okay, time since last tweet. So datetime.now, perfect. Last tweet. Why is that saying, okay, something's really, really wrong with me setting my last tweet. It's saying I did it at 9 o'clock tonight. How is that possible? All right, so let's put this thing right here. So let's put a breakpoint. Something's really weird. So something must be wrong with putting it into a string and back out. That's okay. So date time dot now. So it's 2 o'clock, not 7 o'clock. Yes, I'm in Alaska, so I'm way behind you guys. All right. So let's press next. Hey, Simu. I don't know how do you say it. Simu, thank you for joining. All right, now that time is right. No, that time is wrong. It's saying it's at 10 o'clock. What is going on? Something is really wrong with how the plugin setting does times. Mots, it's a time zone issue. It definitely is. So I'm blaming Mots because I'm using his plugin. So yeah, it can't be me. Can't be. All right. Let's fix date time stuff. Yay! Not what I wanted to do. All right, we'll just do my own time thingy, right? So static date time. No. String dot is null or white space. Yeah, I know, such a crazy bug, time zone. And it's not even in my stuff. All right, so we'll return datetime dot min. All right, guys, this will be quick. That, and then here what we'll do is else datetime dot from string datetime dot parse. Do they have a string thing in there? Or is it just always going to be parse? So parse s, and now our date equals that. I'm going to save it so we can debug it. Static string to string date time. Okay, so now here I'm just going to do date.toString and hope this is right. Hello, we don't have to do long string. Someone just followed. Thank you, the digital gnome. Awesome name. Too bad it had to think about it. It just did a weird thing when it word wrapped that. Okay, too long. I need date time. I remember which one I want. We'll just toString it. Let's just see what comes out of this. If this works, that's gonna be funny. That's all it took. And then I'm gonna file a bug against this stuff. Okay. So now inside of here, we will do get value or default. They have a date time. That's so crazy. Inside of here, we're just going to say string. And then here we will value, oh no, sorry, that's not right. We will say, yeah, that's right. So now we'll just do right here, to date time that. Oh, so pretty. All right, perfect. Now here we will do no, not toString. Here we will do, that way if we need to modify the toString stuff, we can. Let's put some breakpoints in here. Watch it load. See what happens. So funny. Let's say my logic looked right on that. Okay, so we set it. It's just going to tell us 2 p.m. like it should. I should do something with time zones because why wouldn't you? That's saying 2 p.m. Hey, that is working. Let's try this again. Okay, why didn't it do this though? That never fired. All right, so right after we set it, we will do console.writeLine settings.last tweet time. So that way it'll force it to pull it out. We can hit that breakpoint. Yeah, but I don't want to tweet or ask Twitter what the last time of my tweet was. That's just, I don't know. I like the idea of doing it on this because it's tweeting about this thing. What if I jumped on and tweeted something not related? And I don't know. It's, yes, I could, but this is a lot easier as well, and I'm lazy. So both those reasons. Okay, so now, bam. All right, we're toStringing this and it works. Okay, so but now my last date time is going to be wrong and I can't tweet it. Okay, so dot add minutes -6 because that should work. Actually, we'll leave it where it's at first. That way I'll make sure that it doesn't work and then does work. But now my topic's off this entire time. It's talking about stuff I'm not doing. All right, so perfect. It skipped. So now we're going to add minutes. I really wonder what it's doing with dates as it serializes them now. While I am not dealing with time zones, it's still working because I should still be in the same time zone. Hey, that's going to work. All right, so let's remove all this. And let's run it again. And then my tweeting should work. So the first tweet worked, and then none of mine since then because I wasn't streaming for 7 hours, whatever time zone. Yay! Tweeting's working. Tweeting's working. All right, I'm going to remove all this this console.writeLine. We're going to change this to be debug because, man, it's ugly. All right, then I need to do it on the Twitch one too. So that way when we run this output, it's a lot cleaner. Update topic, that's right, that's right. And we will say, add some, what did I write on the Twitter one? I think failed to update tweeter, tweeting was successful. Let's do which updating was successful then. All right, so now we have outputs. Let's build this, build all. So if I run this again, oh, I've got way too many of these. Last one, okay, so if I just press up on this, Stream Helper skips tweeting. It's only a minute ago now. Twitch was updated and we're done. Yes. Live fixing bugs. All right, that's in Stream Helper. Oh, whoa, whoa. Let's not commit this stuff. This is why I like the GitHub app. It shows me what I'm about to commit. And I didn't want to commit any of that. Just the console write lines and the settings. Wow, I need to rebuild it because I forced it into the wrong message. Build, build. Now we can get back to gMusic. Okay. Did anyone check? Did that tweet actually work? It says it did. The APIs don't lie, right? Okay. So back to gMusic. It did! Yay! And I'm getting likes on this. Okay. Thank you. All right. That just wasted some time. Oh, I'm running out of water. I need like 2 or 3 water bottles. All right. Actually, I've got a cough drop. Let me steal a cough drop. That'll work. Almost as good. All right. So let's move on. What? I opened the right one. Yes. So we were going to do end graphics, right? That's what our topic says. That's what we should be doing. Did it add an image as well to the tweet? I'm just wondering if it did. I actually haven't looked at it after I wrote that thing. Okay. And that it did from Squeaky was talking about that it did tweet though, right? All right. And it didn't do an image? It's supposed to do my Twitch profile, but the thing's supposed to download. Ah, sorry. Before I move on, let's just double check and see if my code's not commented out. I had a thing to download the screenshot of the current app and then re-uploading during all the multi-part image stuff. Yeah, remember that one was really fun and horrible to write. So, yeah, it should do it. Grabs the media ID, attaches the media ID. Let's do. I should, but I can't tweet that often. It's already been 5 minutes. I don't want to spot. Yeah, that's right. So we will say, we'll just throw this in here. So that way, next time we run it, we'll be able to tell what's going on. Tweeting with image. Because I'm not doing anything really fancy on getting that thing. No. Tweeting with image is this one. Tweeting without images. Does the console do emojis? Throw a frowny face in there. That one's scary looking. Oh, I can't do it in code though yet. The new editor. I can with the new editor. I'm supposed to, right? Yes, I can. It's the new editor. I can do emoji. Okay, and then we'll just do a happy face. I like that one. Okay. Adding emojis. Okay. Oops. Almost open teams. We don't want teams. Force quit teams. Force quit teams. Force quitting can take a while. Okay. Oh no. Yeah, okay, I didn't. I like that as well. Notice that it was smart enough to say I still didn't want to upload that old stuff I commented out. Only do this one. So we're going to still just commit the emoji. And now let's discard this. Let's rebuild it. So now when I call my command next time, it'll use this new one that is not hard-coded to the wrong message. And we can now test that by saying topic, and it's saying I need to fill out a message. Good. All right, it's back in working state. Let's jump back over to gMusic again, and then we'll fix the stream, and hopefully the stream helper is working. All right, loading. Back on topic. We're now doing N graphics. So I wanted the FF image loading. I wanted to see how they did. I just don't need to go into his wiki, but inside of FF image loading, he has a source. There's the SVG stuff in here. SVG forms. He had this SVG image source. And then he swaps that out. Actually, we can probably just put our own SVG image. I don't want to. I just want to make sure I'm doing it the way he did, or close enough so it works. So we'll go with this. Let's go into forms. Hopefully my cough drop's not too loud and obnoxious now. All right, so where would we, do I have a controls, I have models, I have views, data. It's kind of time to just add like a form or controls things. It's form stuff. This isn't even really a control. Oh well. Wait, control is 1L, right? Not trolls. Yes, not trolls. Okay, so let's add this class in here. Ooh, wrong one. Okay, so we're gonna call this N X source. And actually, I'm gonna name it SVG because we may do one without, so we can just draw N graphics in here. All right, so let's paste this stuff in here. Oops. Copy you up, that's right. Now what all does this thing require I fill out? From that, and let's implement interface. It's gonna ask me? Okay, I think I'm gonna specify in here a way for you to set the height and the width. Didn't I start on this actually? Totally thought I started on this at one point. Now that I'm thinking about it. Okay. SVG. No, it doesn't look like it. I totally thought I started on this. SVG file source. I did. I did. Okay, so we'll... Actually, I don't even think I need to use their stuff. Okay, we're not going to use theirs. We will definitely do all the preserve stuff because that is smart. That under. I have no idea where that thing lives. All right, we're going to remove it then. Okay, we're just going to use my SVG image source. We're SVG file source. We're going to call it the ngraphics one because I like that better. Oh, and I had it. Oh no, style legend. Never mind. Oh, confusing myself. All right, so we're just going to do that. I'm not using it anywhere. Don't save. We're going to delete you anyway. You do save. Let's go over to controls. See, that's where I need something to put weird things like that. But I'm going to move this over because that makes more sense in like a controls thing than it does in just helpers. Though it is a little helper. I'm going to leave it. Less folders. Less folders, better. All right, so we now have this thing. On my old stuff for Xamarin.Forms, when I was forcing things over, I would do funky little things like that. Just complaining about. Uh-oh. There's two types of things. Is it ngraphics size? Huh? Come on. It can't tell the difference between that? No, that's... Oh, it already has a size property. Don't need one. Okay, well, I don't even know why I added that. Okay, that works. We have that, we have this. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to add to this. On the old forms one I was doing, I injected some stuff so I could do the loading. Let's see, oops, this one, live stream, old forms. That gets thrown into... Oh, I had to mess with the internal registrar, I think, to do that. Wonder if I still need to do that. The old way. They've added a bunch of methods now that now exist that didn't when I first attempted doing this 2 years ago. And so I hacked into the internal registrar and registered my own stuff. Registrar originally was public, so I feel okay doing that. Yeah, this was my old one. I did this, and then I was able to just grab stuff. I took advantage of that. I hooked this puppy in somewhere. Let me see where I hook it in. Been a while since I've done this. Hey, new follower. Thank you. Emika? Emika. I'll go with Emika. I need to just pick one and go with it and hope I don't offend anybody. Maybe I did it in here. Oh, okay. We'll just throw this in here for the handlers. We'll do that on the iOS side. That's what I ended up doing. And then I did one for the SVG image source as well. We used to be forced to use file sources. So this code we were just looking at, it's kind of cool because what it does is it lets you implicitly force a new file image source. And so if it ever had to use a file source, I could use my image cache stuff, which would pre-cache the SVG at that size and then spit that thing out. So certain things like tabs or the little top menu thing, or like the hamburger menu, had to be file image sources. And I'm like, why? So I did this to force forms so you didn't have to. I'm not sure if you still need to or not. We'll find out. If we do, we're gonna hack that too. All right, so let's jump over and we will throw in inside the iOS. We are going to throw our little register attributes in there. We have, instead of SVG image source thing, we called this thing nGraphics. Actually, I like the idea of calling. Go back and forth. We'll give them credit. SVG. It's an nGraphics one. Okay, so we will need to add the using. Okay, using Xamarin.Forms. I put it in the Xamarin.Forms namespace. So clever of me. Okay, so SVG image source. Now I need to. That doesn't look right. That doesn't work for the handler, does it? I know they do something like that over here as well for their SVG image loading. Let's see how they did it on their SVGs, forms. They have stuff. These. That. Can't remember how to override the image loading stuff now. So I thought with the image source, when you do this, you have to do two types. The first one is the handler. So this is wrong. That should not be file image source. That should be my new one, which we will steal my old handler from iOS. Hope it works. Let's just grab some of the code for it. Oh, I threw that in here too. That's what I was looking for. So, okay, it's source, then handler. I wonder if that's right still. Okay, so let's grab. Perfect. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. And we'll just override some of this stuff. Been a while since I solved some of these problems, and I like just still resolving them. So we're gonna have to add in a. No, I already have renders. So we are going to add in nGraphics. We're gonna add our handlers into renders because that's all they are as well. It's the same exact mechanism, a renderer versus not. It doesn't care. So nGraphics image. We should. That name is way too long, and I don't like it. Okay, we're just gonna grab that. I think that's right now. Once upon a time, it didn't use this load async stuff. So some of this stuff's not going to work. I'm just going to throw an exception for now and make sure it works. And if so, then we'll throw in some nGraphics stuff. And then we can add tints. We're going to just do tints. We're going to do it all while we're here. Okay. Why do I have to keep adding everything? Forms. Yes, yes. I want just to add everything. Okay. That's right, that's right. We can now kill this, and we're just going to return row. Oh no, we don't have to return those. Okay, so we'll just throw an exception. That's what we always want our code to do, right? Just blow up on us. Now this is what I was looking for. So we need to do nGraphics image source, and then the handler. Let's throw that in there. So many of these little things like this, I even forget, and I helped write half this code. And I can't even remember how some of it works anymore. Okay, so don't feel bad when you're Googling or stealing old code to get some of these little things like that. It's hard to remember. Okay, perfect. The original way, you didn't use all these attributes. You would just, inside an init on the iOS or Android, you just do like registrar.register, and then you'd pass in two types. And voila. But instead, we switched to these assemblies. That way it was easy for people to inject them in if they're doing NuGets. But those little nicety things makes it harder sometimes for us to remember what's going on. We don't need that one. Okay, now let's tie this thing in. Best place to tie this thing in. We could do it at the menu. We've got our little menu thing here. And that is under views. root page, we have our menu. Images equals that. Perfect. So let's go to our search icon, and we are going to change you. You are no longer an SVG image source. You are now in graphics. Really? That's not in a namespace, is it? I'm not using Xamarin.Forms. And graphics image service, and we will just say graphics image source, and let's fill out some of these things. All of mine are from resources, so I don't have to worry about that. And we can tell it the size we want. This is SVG name equals that. Do I want to tell something at what size it should come out? Max size is that. We can just set the max size. That's what we'll do. Already had that there. So in the root page, nope, it's inside of images where we're creating this thing. So go into max size. That doesn't make any sense. That IntelliSense was way off. All right, so we're just gonna say 2828. Now let's hope stuff starts compiling. Ambiguous between declaration. There's only one. Let's rebuild. See if it can figure it out. Okay, let's go to our errors. I'm missing something. Okay, I did not add an ending curly brace. There we go. Build errors, they're very useful. Okay, so let's build again. So expected curly name equals that, max size equals that. And graphics SVG. How is it saying there's two of those? That's amazing. Do I have two of the classes? I thought I deleted one. I bet one's still sitting there. I wonder if it didn't actually delete it, it just removed it. Let's go into the code. Let's look into, no, controls are gone. Okay, then the other error, it is complaining. Oh, something happened in the namespace. All right, we're gonna copy this and we're just gonna undo a bunch of stuff. Let's get this back to where it was. And now from here, we will just add using Xamarin.Forms. Editing code when you can't see the whole window, it can really mess with you. Perfect. Okay, this should be do this. That's what's confusing me though. I've never seen that. Is that a Roslyn bug? Okay. No, now it's complaining that my size thing's not there. So this type wasn't built and it can't figure it out. So okay, it's really confused. It's really, really, really confused. That's what's going on. It thinks there's two of these. So I'm going to unload my solution and reload it because that's the only thing that I can think of that's going on there. Something's, but now I lost inside the old one. I want to add that size back. Can't remember what it was. Steal that code again. Forms. There's an SVG something. Helpers. I put in helpers there too. All right, so we're going to grab this and come back. All right, so we're just going to close the solution and reopen it because something is really, really confused. While that's reloading, Any questions or anything else you guys would like me to make sure we do? I do think we can get the image loading done today. That should be really hard. Image loading with the caching. Maybe we can get the tinted stuff. Once we have tinted stuff, we can start working on the now playing screen some more and actually get some of those tinted buttons in there and the button swapping, and that'll be fun. Toggle state buttons. Okay, so now let's try running this. Okay, perfect. That's better. I can do this. Okay, max size, it's just a double. I forced you to square it all. Okay, that makes that easier. Okay, so we'll just say that it's a double. It's not complaining that I have two of them anymore. Something was definitely still stuck in memory there. All right, so now if we run this, it should go boom with a not implemented exception. Image source not supported. FF image loading is complaining about that. Since we're using FF image loading there, all right, I think we need to do their stuff. That's not fun. Okay, well, I think, am I using FF image loading there? I think I did. What did I put on my side? I have to be because it's freaking out about it. And I'd like to make it work with FF image loading so that way it can work with either of them. So we'll go back to that little, I need that interface. We'll throw that interface in there and then it should work. Okay, so we're just gonna add the using for that. We will now quick fix, does that let you into? Okay, implement the interface. Okay. Wow, you have to be able to set this thing to an image source? It is an image source. Okay, so we're just going to return this. Done. Int get, can we set? Okay, we can set those. So we will just do size.width. These probably need casting. Double, that's an int. That's probably read only, isn't it? Yeah, it's lame when you can't, because it's not a variable. Is a variable, okay, that's lame. All right. I'm gonna be lame. This is how we're doing it. Just cast those puppies. It's lame, but I don't think I need it. We'll see if they need it. And that'll be good enough for me. Okay. Use dip units. Guess. Just gonna do. Guess I could have just done that, but that I need. This replace map. We're just gonna do that because we're not gonna use their built-in thing. I vector data resolver. What is that? Hey, do not reference. Okay, they're saying don't use it. That's cool. I will throw that same exception right back at them. Okay. Oh, they have some. Oh, okay. That does something. I'm just gonna throw an exception and see what happens. Everyone wants their exceptions to be nice and tell them hi. All right, so let's run this, see what happens. Be really confusing if I leave that in. It just tells everyone hi. Exceptions should be nicer. They should always say, I'm sorry, this happened. This is really sad. Something nicer. Okay, what just happened? The size not set, and so all of this is blowing up? Just gonna set this to like 30, 30 as a default, just to see if that's the issue. Yeah, it's nice when something is like nice and says, uh-oh, or somehow is, I know, feel some empathy. Crashing's never fun. No one likes exceptions. Hey, Apple did their logo or their stuff at an angle, so that makes me feel better about my gradient angle. Something's going on. Bugging now? Not debugging. Give me an exception. All right. I may be restarting the simulator. Oh, okay. I just closed the wrong one. Nope, something happened. Something definitely happened. That I remember the hotkey. I thought it was Option or Alt. Are you doing the wrong slash? Wrong slash. Alt and slash forward slash, right? That's the one with the question mark above it. That will take you to your console. And I zoom this thing in. Window, zoom. No, not that kind of zoom. Unzoom. And manually resize you like a caveman. Just do that, get you halfway there using hotkeys. All right, now we're just gonna, one of these keys. Okay, let's try. Really? You cannot zoom in on the console. That is so lame. What if people need to be able to see better? I'm sorry, guys. We will. Yeah, I tried that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I tried every combination I could think of. I can do the like accessibility zoom, but then I can barely see this thing. How do I scroll up? Let's type in gMusic. Something crashed it. Really, really quick, something crashed it. All right, we're just gonna restart the simulator. And we're going to build, clean, and we're gonna run it. Give me a better exception. I wonder if it's something with what we just implemented, because it was working before we added that interface, but adding that interface shouldn't cause it to be an issue. Also, let's be honest, I don't need to use that for this. I'm not actually gonna be loading anything here from a website. I would totally go for the Scooby-Doo one. My kids would love it, especially if it talked. Okay, something's wrong with this interface. It could be my exception. Nothing's telling me what it is. If I go to the output here, nothing. It shows it's loading. We're getting data out, but then it crashes. So it's crashing at a bad point. This isn't telling me anything. And we can't read it. The font's too small. All right. You are not helpful today, console. Okay, so we're going to change those views because we don't even need that extra headache. Why add in all this extra stuff we don't need? Right. It could be with image source getting this, it could be doing a cycle. It could be constantly. I could open the console there. But no, that console is the one streaming from the simulator. It wasn't a VS console. It was the simulator's console. So I don't know where that lives on file. So guess I could get it from the console itself. All right, that's probably what it is. It's probably a cycle. This is probably returning this over, let's run it. That's gotta be what it is. Why would the image source be asking for an image source, which then asks for an image source? I don't know. If so, that's something really weird in the library. But that's got to be what it is. It's got to be a Stack Overflow with that. This, this, this. Stack Overflow! Very bad API design, guys. I don't like that. That's in the FF image loading. That should not happen. But we found it. All right, we're ditching FF image loading here. I like it for my images where we're downloading from the web, and I'm gonna need to do something for that because I need it. I need that at some point because my default album art is also an SVG. So we'll solve that a different way. Dun dun dun. Let's go into here. Render, not renderers. Let's go into the views where it lives. And that was on the side navigation page. Yes. Here we are. Image, background color blue, because why wouldn't you? See, didn't use fuchsia. Name, and we're binding it to an image, and we have that image property. So let's run this. This won't use their stuff, it will use just my SVG stuff. That was a very long distraction. We're just on this from the beginning. Okay, my breakpoints didn't hit though, so something's not right. Okay, so SVG image source here, right? We have that. Do I have that backwards on my registering? So I have that one. We have the renderer. The renderer says handler and then the target. I bet these are backwards. Did that ever change? All right, so let's try that. See if that works. Oh, don't worry. There's plenty of fuchsia sitting around. Still no breakpoint. See, we still got a fuchsia. We still have fuchsia there. Dun 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 dun. This is why I hooked into last time. I hooked into my own. Or I hooked into the private one. Oh, actually, let me put a breakpoint there. Maybe it was working and I had a breakpoint not there. But when I do my own stuff, okay, so I thought I had that breakpoint there. Maybe it was right all along. Oh, maybe it did this through an exception, and I didn't have the breakpoint there, and that's why it was doing a consistent sorry, that's why it probably kept saying, hey, I need the new one, I need the new one, I need the new one. It's working. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So what we will do now is let's go into this thing and we'll do public color and we're gonna make that a nullable. Yay, tint color. I like it. So now we have a tint color. So we'll need that for when we do tinting, which we're not doing yet, but we'll have it. Okay. Perfect, perfect. Let's do, I remember think how I want to serialize that. I need to deal serializing that. Cache name, and here we will just do wrong one. So I'm gonna cache this thing. I'm gonna do it slightly different than I've done in the past, so that way we have a way to look these things up. So the cache name is going to be SVG, oops, sorry. SVG name. Come on. SVG name. We are going to also do sizes. We will do, on mine, I kind of just do size.width. Sorry, then I know how to format these strings. Promise. Okay, that's looking better. Underscore size.height. And then how to do that tint color. I'm wondering if I should do, because I'm gonna have some that are gonna be black, some that are gonna be white, and some that are gonna be the pink color, not fuchsia, but pink. So I'm wondering the right way to do those. For now we're just, I wonder if I need to give it a tint name. I don't like doing that. That would work. Well, let's just do something with the color and do like, color, question mark, oh, it's tint color, right? Hey, return, there's a string color, there's string in there. The only thing is it will throw in that if not. So height, we want to do something, let's do this. String, color equal that, else. Now we can do, that way we're only adding that underscore if it's needed. I mean the dash if it's needed. Color. We'll just go with that. Helps to use the right variable name there. Now we'll just say color name. All right, so now we have a cache name so we can cache these things. The reason we cache these is on some slower devices, doing this drawing and writing it out to an image and to a file can take time. We also need to write it out to a file. Like I said, certain things used to on forms force you to load from a file. Kind of lame. But we can also now do these with the SVG image stuff or the other things, so we can just pass it a file path if needed, which will be really nice. If it's cached, we'll just load it from the cache and off we move. So yeah, I like that. And then we can do this little thing here. Okay, so we have the source. We have that. It is calling. It is being used. We have our loading our image. Let's go grab some ngraphic stuff. I'm just going to steal my old code because I wrote this and it was a lot of work. And I'm not going to reuse it all. All right. I'm not going to rewrite it all. So if we go into gMusic, actually, let's go into the current gMusic. Inside of here, if I go into iOS, there's a helpers. There should be ngraphics in there. We have ngraphics extensions. We're going to need to modify these extensions so we can, that way we can do the tinting because that's not currently supported. Add new folder. Love my helpers folders. All right, ngraphics. This also has something with the caching. I don't think that's enough. This one does all the stuff to load from, do I need to add ngraphics? I should add ngraphics. All right, add ngraphics. Yay for ngraphics. Added. One in here. Make me happy. Okay, we're also going to add that to Android because we're going to do this on both. A new package. And then I say after this, we can figure out how to do the tinting thing right off of FF image loader. I bet it had to do with me throwing an exception. I thought I had a breakpoint there, so I thought we would see that exception happen, but it didn't. All right, yay. So what this stuff does is this will let us just say, hey, here's an image view, load this SVG in. Very useful. I can also say, load an image from an SVG. This is not going to take into account resources. I'm going to need to fix that. Loads it, and I had a resource helper that I wrote. Where's my resource helper? Find the right one. Here's one. That's one I wrote for App Center. Same difference. Ah, this is the one I'm thinking of though. This is the one for Rosie. We'll use that one unless there is a gMusic. Have one for Media Player. Music has one. For Android only. Why is it Android only? Okay, because that's an Android resource helper. My Logic game has it. Lots of things. I write this thing and copy it around all over the place. It does fancy stuff, so that way you'll notice right now my resources when we're loading them in the images, we have all of this weird stuff in there with like finding the exact name, but I like cheating. I'll show you what I mean. That's inside of help, not Android. It's inside gMusic, helpers. We have to write all like this gmusic.resources.svg. This is ugly. I don't like doing that. I loathe doing that. So my resource helper makes it to where we don't have to do that. So we'll just throw resource helper, feel the logic game one. Let's copy it and rename it into resource helpers. There it is. Okay, lost it. All right. So we now have this. We can grab the stream out. Yay, grab the stream. Grab embedded resources strings. Now we can grab that because that's the way we're planning on doing here is all from resources. And this does do some comparison to where that way it will find it. Path.replace. I thought I had something in here to where, yes, here it goes. So I hunt for this thing because it's just ugly hunting for these things else any other way. So that way I can simplify those to be like just the name.svg and it'll find it. If I need to specify, I can do svg slash whatever and then or dot whatever. But that way I don't have to write those things out all the way because you rarely have two SVGs in the same name. If you do, you can just specify them more. See? Okay, let's jump into here. And now we're going to change this. So instead of load image from SVG here, it's going to go resource, not using. Don't want this. I want, this can load it from a text reader. So we're going to get it from a really it needs it as a text reader. I'm going to need it as a string so I can replace things. So what we'll do is we will do var svg data equals helper dot get embedded string, and we will pass in svg. All right, now new, I want this as a text reader. That's something else in there. That's really lame. I wish I could just pass it a string. Because I don't want to now turn it into a stream. All right, well, yeah, that's lame to take the hit. You know, for now, we're not going to deal with any of the stuff going back and forth. We'll just get the stream just to make sure it works. And then we'll tackle this and only take the hit if we have to. Okay, this also doesn't deal with the right caching stuff, so we're going to want to deal with this. You'll notice I do go and grab the file. I was grabbing the file name, and then I also set that as the accessibility identifier to make it nice and easy. We'll do that as SVG. And this will be get resource stream. All right. So for now, we'll just get it as a stream. Did I just delete something I didn't have? I messed something up. Okay, so not our resource helper. Let's go back in gMusic, iOS, helpers, see something there. Because open text, oh, open text will give you the file rate stream reader. Okay, that's all right. We'll just wrap this again. It wants a file stream, and that should be how you do those. Reader. That's what it is. New stream reader. All right. Really ugly. Don't want to have to take that hit. But we should now be able to call SVG, give it a size, and get back a UI image. Let's test this thing. It'll only work on iOS. We'll need to build the Android one. But we're getting somewhere. All right. So let's just do that is graphics extension. Oh, I was really lazy with that. All right, so what we'll want to do is go image source, our source equals source as n graphics image source, and then source we'll leave throwing an exception in there, but we should throw a better one. We'll go with that right now. And now we'll say source.svg, perfect, dot this under dot to name that extension dot load. I called it load image from SVG. Image from SVG. I just made an extension on string. Kind of funny I did that. And now here we'll say source dot size. That's probably the wrong kind of size. What kind of size? Boom, boom. I think I can just do a new ngraphic size and push those things in. Do dot size width, first dot size dot height. Okay. We should now load an image. Let's hope this works. Oh, I need to return it. That image, that's the wrong spot. All right. We should now get an image back. Put a breakpoint here. That's super exciting if this works. Didn't get to tinting, but we got images loading hopefully. Got through a lot of this. We have an image. We have an image. It's a size. Okay, let's see what it does. Ah, it's right. Okay, it is going at the right size, but that's still being stretched. So we need to make sure that we change the aspect ratio on that thing. So image aspect equals fit. What if I don't want it to do anything? I'm trying to remember what that is. Isn't there a way to tell it not to stretch or skew or? Xamarin.Forms. If anyone else asks that. I want it to. Can't remember. All right. Not cool. Because that's supposed to be smaller than that. Because we set it to a size. It didn't set the size. Yeah, that size is all wrong. Okay. No, but I set it right in this. Max size of 28. That image is being stretched. I don't want it to. And this one's supposed to be tinted to white. I thought I made all my images. This one's not made. It's black. I might have to go and cleanse all of mine and make them all black or all white so that way it's easy to swap them all out. Okay, so curious if that has anything to do with it. And let's also try changing that here to like 10. Make it nice and small. Do the obvious. So yeah, now I shouldn't have to do this whole search.svg thing. I should be able to just do like search.svg and it'll work. Okay, does anyone in chat know how to disable all scaling on images? Oh, it's the fill, not aspect fill? Okay, fill. Let's go change the fill. Let's see if that's right. So, side navigation, here we go. Instead of aspect, I did not read this all the way. Okay, so aspect. Aspects fit's the one I want. I just don't want it to be, I don't want it to make my image big. I wonder if I have to override anything on the size stuff. Side of here, is there something I can do? That should just get the native side from the UI image. Let's check what this UI image thing is, make sure that it is coming out the right size. The image will have those properties on it. I'm wondering where the issue is coming from, if it's coming from forms or if it's coming from my image. It's either of those. Right. So image size is 10, is tiny. Anything missing in here? Yeah, its size is 10. Oh yeah, and it's really, you can't see it probably very well, but if I zoom in, it is pixelated like none other. Because it is being. So I think what I need to do is change this. I think it has to do with how I'm doing this. So right now I'm putting this inside just the image straight in there, and I think that's the problem. What if we do it in a frame? And we'll give the frame the size 35, because I want these to be consistent. I want the height request and the image request of that be 35. Okay? Aspect, fit. Remove these. And a frame just centers its content, right? I think it does, especially with those horizontal options. All right, let's run that and see what comes out. That nesting will fix it. What's it gonna do? All right, we've got our result. Don't need that. We know it's a nice small 10 pixel image. Oh, that frame is ugly. And where's my image? Is that really what a frame looks like by default? Oh, that's hideous. Okay, we're not going to use a frame. Isn't there like a box view? Content view? I could do content view. Or I could do, I don't want to do like an absolute layout. An absolute layout or a grid would work as well, just centering it in it. That just seems so overkill. Yeah, I'm trying to put it into a frame, so that way the image will be centered and we'll have the white space around it. Because these images, I just want it to be consistent, so that way if the image is there, it'll just be consistent and they'll all line up the same regardless of the image size. I hate when you size things off of images and the text moves. That's just ugly. So, yeah, and the aspect went nasty. Like it kept making the image go to the full size, even though I want the image that size, like the frame of the image, but I want the actual image inside tiny. So let's do content view and see if content view can be nested. Yeah, I want the image frame to be a certain size, but I don't want the image to match that size. An aspect fit, you would think would do that. And I made the image nice and tiny. That's better. That's what I wanted. Okay, now I can make this thing not tiny. Let's go back to our 28 instead of 10. We can remove our ugly blue background now because we know what's going on. Let's actually put another ugly. Let's go with fuchsia. Let's make Squeaky happy. So background color equals fuchsia. Now we should have a blue and a fuchsia, so we should be able to see that padding around it, which is what I was trying to get with those. Why, what? The padding or the fuchsia? You were sad last time I didn't use fuchsia. And it is quiet. The rest of you, there are 14 follower or people watching right now, and only Squeaky's talking. She's lonely. Hey, that's what I want. So I want that extra padding always there. So that way, regardless of what resolution I choose these, because these icons, some of them I make smaller, because the way the magnifying glass with that long handle can look funnier depending on the rest of these. So all of these need to have their own. We also did something, whether that should be hidden, didn't we? Is visible. Now I'm going to move the is visible up. We're going to remove all of our pretty colors right now, since we don't need them. So now this content view is only visible. So if there's an image, the images are set with. I fight that even iOS does that, to where if some have images, I just don't like that. I always want them. I want those certain cells to always look that way. Text should line up. It just should. All right, we're gonna kill background color, and we're gonna kill our fuchsia. Where's our fuchsia? You're gone now too. All right, not needed. Let's run this. Those should now look a lot better. And while we're at it, we should probably just put our gradient background here on the list view. I'm probably going to do those as a custom control with a custom renderer though, because if I do the gradient view we created on this one, the gradient's not going to scroll. And gradient's not scrolling is not an option, because a gradient should scroll with it. So I need to change that gradient anyway so it does a looping thing. What error do we have? Error. Horizontal options is an unexpected token. No space. I deleted stuff and deleted spaces. All right, because I need to make sure that does the gradient right. You know, let's just do that really quick while I'm at it. I'm going to do a custom control because we'll do this different on iOS and Android. That way we're not using the same gradient drawing. We'll use the old one. It'll look better. Perfect. Perfecto! Now we can add in the artist. Let's add those in because it's driving me nuts not having those. And I will show you we can do these ones even easier. All right, and we're going to go check what the old image size was because they could be wrong. No. Artist icon, we have this is inside of our SVGs. Let's go look at resources, SVGs. SVGs, we have artist. We're going to delete all this ugly because our helper makes it nice. Because who remembers to do all this? Who wants to think about all that? Not me, not me. All right, so we're just going to do them all in here, and we're just going to leave them all at the 28 for right now. We'll go check what I had on my old stuff because sometimes I would tweak those sizes based on what the icon looked like. White noise, white space and stuff should look different. So we have artist, album. What else is in our navigation? I can't remember. We need our root page where that lives. Okay, so let's open up the root page. We're gonna need that anyway. Root page. Let's dock you to the side. We have our root page there. Wow, these fonts, it's so big. Artist, album, genre, and songs. Okay. So we have album. So genre, song, playlist. Genre, songs, and playlists. Come on, let me click. Now let's go fix them here. Make sure I make these SVGs match. Okay, genres, probably just genres. Oh, it has an S, make sure I do that. And then the next one is songs. What does song? And then playlists. All right, so now we can close you. Come in here and let's add some images. image, images.menu.artist equals images.menu dot after artist album going dot genre. Done. One last one. Equals menu playlist icon. Okay, so now if we run this, we should have some pretty icons along the side. Around the time I wanted to be done, I might just change the fonts to white and put that background color in. Just because I want it. Okay, let's check our menu. That is actually looking pretty good. Fonts are all wrong. We need to make this one bigger, fancier font, thinner font. Oh, I closed the other one. Simulator, hardware. It was the XS that had it? I think it was the XS. We'll let that boot. We can have our comparison, but I think that's right. Okay. These will also need to be tinted white before it looks right. Let's just fix our font really quick, make it white. And pretty much always white. I think I always leave it white. I don't think I ever go black. I do white, I think. So much harder. It's nice having the reference. Making all these decisions the first time. Nice not having to. Now I did have more spacing there, so we're going to want to add more spacing because that looks a lot nicer. Get the spacing consistent. Yeah, my spacing's horrible. So let's add some margin stuff. We can fix that really quick. Go into the side navigation page. So inside of here, we already have padding of 5 on the side. Bump that to 6. Let's do spacing equals another 6. Run that again. Fix that. Oh, let's do the font white really quick while we're at it. We didn't get to any of the style stuff. We'll fight styles next time. It will make the list next time. We have that. That is not doing the right thing yet. So that icon image, we're going to want to go into the images and set the color to white on all of these. Tint color equals color.white. Ooh, not wheat. Wheat would look funny. We're just going to add that to all of these. And we're going to check those sizes against the old code. I'll do that. You guys probably don't want to watch that. So we'll get the tint color white. Although tint color is not working yet, we'll fix that later. Let's do a custom control. Add new. We're just going to say this is a gradient list view. And it will subclass subclass list view, Xamarin.Forms. Please don't tell me that's sealed. Okay, it didn't. Scared me, like, come on. So we're going to have a generic list view. Perfect. Now we'll jump into iOS. Let's add a renderer in there. So now we can just do gradient list view renderer. That should be good. This is just going to my hotkeys aren't back in the new editor yet, so I'm hitting the wrong ones. Okay, so we have that. Now what I want to do is override, is it something control? Create native control. That's what I want. That's not dead still, right? It's still there. Okay, so var control equals that. Now we're going to do one more thing in here. We'll do control dot background color equals, for now I'm just going to cheat, from image, and let's add that image in. Inside of gMusic, iOS, resources, we have a gradient image, a background image, accent color. Okay, so resources, we're just going to keep being lazy with this. We should probably make these into an asset catalog later. We're just going to copy, actually cancel. We're going to add both of them in there. Copy those. And we will just say UI image.from bundle and say accent color. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I like it. So we should be able to, now we just need to return that control. Now that will use that image, repeat it, and then it just does the nice little really cool scroll effect. So that's perfect. Now let's just go switch our side view over to our custom view, which I'm going to need to copy this YAML syntax thing again. And I just did that in welcome page. Okay, so that's the design time stuff. I don't want that. Actually could be usable, but this is what I want. Okay, so now on our side navigation page, we will just throw this puppy in there. And now we will just say gMusic. And I'm going to copy and paste this so I don't do it wrong. We need to, oh, we didn't register it yet either. So we need to register it. So that code from here. Don't have to think about it. Let's go to the gradient view render. We're going to then do gradient list view renderer. Oh, that's not right because this is not. Export renderer, that needs to be changed, and then this one is just going to be that, and using this. Now at this point, we should, hopefully, get a really pretty control. We'll put a breakpoint there, just in case. At this point, I should be really happy with the navigation. It should look almost identical. We're going to do the same thing, export render, on the Android side, and we'll just use XAML. I mean, Android has built-in shapes and gradient stuff. We'll just use that to do the same effect over there. Darn it! What happened? Override. Maybe I overrode the wrong property. I want it. I could do it on binding context change because the control already exists at that point. I just want to make sure that the table view exists. So I can grab that table view. Okay, so that's just not being called. All right, so to look at the source for that. I want to know when the list view's built and set. So let's say on element changed. Oh, the accessibility stuff. This view renderer, what's it create under the hood? It is a type of list view. So it does the list view. So if I grab, I just need to get that list view. All right, let's go check out source code. And then we'll be done. Just want to fix this last thing and then we can do Android next time. Okay, so that is Wow, that's not, that's GTK. iOS, there we go. All right, so let's look at that code really quick. So it news a new one up at some point. Table view control does. So I can just do control, and control will give it to me. Okay, so we'll just check there and see if the control is not null. Control's a list view, or table view. Background color equals this thing. We'll put a breakpoint here, maybe oversetting it. Let's do that. These controls have changed so much since I've done them. How they work can be difficult. We got it! Yay, we should have a background color. All right, moment of truth, moment of truth. Wow, that is the wrong direction. That is hideous. Okay, not what I wanted. Let me go check the old one. I think I might use that horizontal one. Let's jump into, let's go. gMusic iOS, view controllers. We have root view controller, flyout menu. So in here, I will set the flyout menus, navigation. Okay, table view. Oh, I set it to a totally different one that I didn't, that's not the one I was thinking of. All right, launch BG. Perfect. Nice to know. Oh, and I also did blur that thing. We're not gonna deal with that. All right, so let's go grab the right image this time. Yeah, all the source control is completely open source on this. You can follow along. I've been pushing it as we go. I forgot to update my topic, but we're ending anyway. But yeah, the source code's there, and you can see the source code to both apps. Both of them are on my GitHub. So thanks for answering that, Sweeky. It's called? God. Called something background. Oh, LaunchBG background. Okay. Let's copy this over this time. And we don't need these accent colors then, so we're going to remove and kill them. Bye. We might bring them back later. Let's copy over that resource. Copy. We're going to need that resource anyway for the launch storyboard because it uses that as well. And okay, this time we should have a gradient that is pretty, not whatever that last thing was. Almost made my eyes bleed. And I did have that blur. That's the big difference. Oh, my cells need a background color of nothing. So I need to make my cells transparent. I like the blur. That blur really softens it. And that way I did for my different themes. I do the light blur versus the dark blur. We can do our on platform again. We can do that. How did I do that? Where was that frosted at? That was on the welcome screen. Back to the welcome screen. Let's add a blur and move our background color. Sorry, I keep adding on what I need to finish. But, okay. Does ViewCell have a background color? No. All right, this does. Background color equals transparent. Perfect. And I don't know if I need anything more than that. That'll be right, that'll be right. Let's jump into, let's grab that blur because the blur is nice. Okay. Inside the blur, we need to add the iOS thing, and I can't remember which one that is. I put that at the end. Why did I put it? Just got tired of adding these. Again, I'm gonna ask if we can get these things in glue. That would take to get. I hate copying and pasting these things around everywhere I go. Okay, so now we have that. Now we should be able to, I'm gonna steal that again because it's the same exact blur effect. Perfecto. Actually, I could have used that same background image instead of doing the gradient, but the gradient was fun to do. Okay, side navigation page. Let's do on this list view. Okay, let's see if this fixes it. Flex, are you saying what? I don't know about flex. You talking about a flex layout? I thought you were going to teach us all how to use flex layouts. Okay, that did not do it like I wanted. That is really funny. We're still getting white. It did blur the entire thing when I wanted the blur to be behind it. Okay, we're just gonna have to set we're gonna do that not here. So do I have to do anything to make my Xamarin.Forms cells default by background default by default? Or transparent by default? That's the right word I'm looking for. As I need to fix those. They're obviously not being transparent for me. That is far from transparent. I thought they would be. I even set it to transparent. So view cells, I can't, there's no background color or anything on this. There's the view that sets it, which is a stack layout, and the stack layout is transparent, which should be transparent. Okay, either way, let's remove that thing. No, it's nothing in the gradient thing because we didn't have the gradient before. It shouldn't be. The gradient's just setting a background. All we did in the gradient is set a background color, which shouldn't be a problem. Background view equals new UI blur. I had a blur view. And well, gMusic has a blur view. Steal it. I could just set the blur view. Actually, what I do? Yeah, I did a new blur view. gMusic use by controls blur view will live in there. Nope, that's blurred image view. Blur view live in blurred image view? It does. Okay. Steal this. Steal my code, guys. Run directors, because that makes sense. Okay, so let's change that, and now we can just do blurred view, light, not prominent, I want it light. So that'll fix the blurring, but nothing, the only thing that's inheriting from that, oh right, I had some stuff, we're not gonna work, we're not supporting, right, I had some ugly stuff in there. So pre-iOS 8, you couldn't do proper blurs, so you used a UI toolbar, and you stole its layer, and that's how you made a blur view. True fact, people, true fact. But we don't need that. iOS 7, when they said, hey, use blurs, you couldn't. Oh, did I remove the ad on that other one? Make sure I don't do too much code. Okay, hopefully I've removed all of my old iOS stuff. Starting with iOS 8, they gave you a right way to do a blur view instead of stealing the toolbar's visual layer. And I've been building this too long. Okay, my blur is better. That's right, that matches. But why is that background white? Quick Google search. List view. Look, other people are complaining too. Transparent background for grouped. Not grouping those, am I? I have to. Okay, let's try that. We're ignoring it anyway. So they're saying let's set the background color They're just saying set the background color to transparent on the list view itself. Okay, so let's run that. Yeah, the gradient list view is literally just a dummy class, so that way I have something to swap out for. I don't want to make all of my list views have this awesome gradient background, because that would be really ugly. That's it. Wow, that's really dumb. Okay, you need to set the background color to transparent for the cells to be transparent. But I didn't think about it. Okay, yeah. I don't know why you'd need to do that. It's all right. It's now transparent. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I just assumed cells would have been transparent just because they shouldn't have to match the same background. Okay. That's looking really good, guys. We need to fix our toolbars because our navigation bars because they're blue and not white. And I don't mind the bright color because it's hidden most of the time. I kind of like that color pop as the reveal. Oh, we don't have shadows. Oh, I actually like shadows there. We need to add some shadows there. We need to finish out the rest of the setting stuff. Our now playing, we're going to need to throw some blur effects in there, which will be great because we have our on-platform blurs. And we have my fancy blur if needed now that I copied it over. But yeah, I think that's coming along nicely. This is not bad. We're less than what, 10 hours in? And we have it syncing, downloading from Google, getting all the stuff, sorting, grouping it, making it scroll nice and fast. It's starting to actually look nice. We have SVG images loading. Need to change some tinting on them. But yeah, I'm really excited. I don't know if we're not caching images properly yet. I still need to build that, and I need to build the image loading on Android. So that code's already written. We'll just copy that over and do the same thing we did for iOS. But I'm really excited where this is going, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna mark off some of these things on my. So I have not done anything Android specific yet. We have not even ran Android in a while. I think I ran it on one of the streams. Android should work. The only thing custom we've done has been the now playing or the welcome screen blur. We added a blur to soften that. To be honest, we could just do that in Photoshop. Just do that background nice and soft. The only other things we did that were iOS specific was that gradient background and that one blur. And now that we've added in the nGraphics image loading, nGraphics image loading is not done, but everything should run aside from those SVG loading. Should we do that really quick? Man, I'm already on like 2.5 hours of streaming. All right, let's fix that. Squeaky made me do it. All right, so let's go grab the Android graphics loading. I have that for there too. Check it out, nGraphics extension, same name. No shock there. All right, so we'll steal that for Android. It has the same exact API. So I don't have helpers. We'll just throw into renders. All right. I'm not using my word. Squeaky made me do it. My excuse. Everyone will believe it. You're too persuasive. We have to do it, you say. Okay, so let's do one of these guys. So we need a file new, this, and what's that? My office is also getting really hot with all these computers going and my door open, or door closed. Oops, wrong one. So I need to end so I don't melt in my office. I live in Alaska and there's no air conditioning, so all my windows closed and all my doors closed. It gets hot. All right. Throw that in there. Let's fill this thing out. Let's implement that. Load image async. So from here, we should be able to basically copy and paste that code. that. We really could copy most of that code. That is awesome. So funny. We literally copy and pasted the entire renderer. I do need to change this extension because it's not doing the right one. It's doing the file bed open. So we will steal that from this one. Should make those consistent. Okay, so we'll just do that. Awesome. Oops. Onto there. Okay, that is, yeah, that's really nice when your renderers are even identical. I mean, that's kind of cheating. If they didn't subclass different things, I could just reuse them. Okay, since I did that in the renders there, I'm going to move that and then just delete that helpers we don't need yet. Now let's just add that, oops, add music. Now we have our resource stuff. Okay, right, that's not right. I did something to get the scale. For now, we're just going to say the scale is 1. Throw a big fat, throw that in there. I have a thing to get the scale on Android so we know what the scale is, so as I'm drawing them, I draw them scaled for the right screens. But wow, that's really exciting. Let's grab the top of, uh-oh, why is that complaining? I think it's fine. I think it's just freaking out on me again. I moved it. It didn't like being moved. Something's still in memory, I'm guessing. New renderers, do this. That's there. Then we'll do this one. All right, guys. I think that's it. I think we should now have Android launch this thing. It won't be blurred, so it'll be a brighter, not the same muted pop, but like I said, I could fix that by using a background image anyway. I probably should mute that thing and not do it from an effect because the launch screen uses the same one. I don't know. Probably. Or we could throw a blur effect in on Android too. Maybe we'll do that. Run. Run. Okay, oh, it's still loading the simulator. Your emulator is out of date. Really? You're gonna make me update my emulator before I can go on? Definitely an image is better than the effect, but the effect doesn't do live stuff. So it depends. If for what I'm using it for, I should just do an image because I'm already doing an image. And so blurring just a static image is lame. Whereas if we look at here, I am going to need live blurs because all of this blur you see here, that is just this album art. So as this album artwork changes, that blur is going to change to match. So, and I also swap between light and dark based on what theme you have. So I adjust the blur on the fly, and I can't blur all those images. So depends on where you're using it at, but blur is definitely slower. But on these phones, you can't tell. You have to be doing a lot to notice the blur. Okay, well, my Android emulator is out of date. Let's see if I have another one that'll work. Such a lame error. Your emulator is out of date. We will not deploy to it. Because these weren't out of date that long ago. A month ago. Yeah. All right, if this works, we should have SVG image loading on Android. We'll do the swapping out on tint. We'll do tinting next time. Let's just do tinting next time and all kinds of fun stuff like that. Okay. Debug. All right, Android might not be in the cards today. I need to update things. Oh, why is it yelling at me? Yeah, I'll fix Android later. So I don't think I picked the C# there. And I just locked up my ID anyway. So let's go to latest. See if it'll run this time, but sorry, Android's broken. I'm going to commit it. It should work. You guys can all try it out yourselves. But it should work. All right, so gMusic.Forms. And graphics image loading. And oh, and also I did the welcome screen. I already committed the welcome screen, didn't I? All right. And you guys forgot to remind me to update my topic as we were going along. Wait, it's building. It's building, guys. We might get it. It's deploying. But then I really got to go because I am roasting in my office and I need to open my windows. And if I do that, you can't see me because the sunny out and I just disappear from the sun. Funny how that works. Right. Deploy. Installing shared runtime. I've never deployed to this device yet, so it's going to be a slow deploy. Let's mark off some stuff in our, where were we? Root controller. Let's close you out of the way. I might bring up my images stuff so I can look at going, kill that. Styles, that's useful. Oh, it's launching. Any second now. Welcome to gMusic. That did not work right. What's going on with the... Oh, I don't have the image there. So the image is set too big for the screen size. So that's why I did that adaptive image, so we're going to have to bring the adaptive image. It's the only way to make this thing work. So we're going to skip this for now. If I can. I know, the emulator's bad. But it's not letting me click buttons. Oh, it let me click login, not skip. I don't want to log in. Yeah, I need a better device setup. Why can't I click skip? All right, guys, we are going to cheat and we are going to remove that now that we have it working. Let's just do this and then I'm really done, I promise. In root view. Root view. We are going to, where do I show my pop-up? We are just gonna comment that out. It was just whatever emulator was suggested there. I just ran it, so I haven't updated my Android emulators. I just use like everyone else, I use real devices whenever I'm building, so I don't use the emulators. And I don't have any of the screen mirroring stuff set up right now, so I can't even mirror the real Android devices. Okay, launching. That resolution seems horrible too. Who has a phone with this resolution anymore? The buttons are like a tenth of the screen, if not more. Okay. Oh wait, I didn't want the welcome screen. I commented that out the wrong way. All right, that'll be my homework. I will set up proper emulators so that way we can use Android and not cry. I will do it. Okay, run that one more time. Okay, this is all still working. We've got our drag up. Man, this resolution's not usable. Okay, that's exactly right. We're getting our images. Our text is going right. We've got more padding than I'd like there, but I didn't do the gradient stuff. Like I said, that was custom. So the image loading, I need to do the gradient, and I haven't done anything else that's cross-platform. I mean, it's platform specific yet. So yeah, throwing in the image loading. I'll do the gradient list view. We'll do that next time in Android. That way we can have the same pretty gradient view. And yeah, the welcome screen needs fixing. I need to do that adaptive image. So let's throw that on our to-do list. Trying to find it. Live stream agenda. Okay. So we did not build the settings screen. We did not do that. We did do image loading. We did not do tinted. We have not done styles yet. So let's... Why is my clicking not working? Oh. Agenda next week. Let's just fill this out really quick. We will move this stuff all up. We will do this here. We don't need that as a sub item. We'll do int image or gradient Android. And you know, I got 3 things off my ambitious list done. I don't like that order. That okay. So we made some progress though. We have blur. Well, I'm not counting this blur views. We didn't do all the blur views I want because I might do some on iOS or Android as well. I might blur the now playing screen there. All right. Yeah. Good job, guys. We got distracted by our tweet streamer thing. So we finished those, we moved those up, and exciting. As always, if you have questions, if there's topics you want me to cover, or you have some advice, if I'm doing something you see weird, or you want to know more about things, ask questions. I like engaging, I like teaching, so feel free. I will explain things, explain why and how I do things. I'm going to push this code up live. Tweaky just posted the repo just not too long ago. Let's repost it. Why not? I'll repost it in here. So definitely jump in, guys, ask questions, and we'll work through this stuff. So I will revert that because we don't want to leave that. And yeah, we'll fix the welcome screen on Android too. Thank you guys again for joining, and I will talk to you guys later.